of Shalako Indian Agricultural School. We had a rivalry with Haskell back in the day. But now that Shalako was pretty much torn down, I guess you guys won. We concede. One of the things I remember most about Shalako was, I'm a Cherokee to begin with. The world to me was made up of Cherokees, white folks, and the occasional Creek. I have to be careful when I walk out here, right? But when I went to Shalako, oh my God, I didn't realize there were so many different kinds of Indians in the world. I looked around and there were Indians from Washington State, there were Indians from New York and Massachusetts down to Florida, Southern California, North, the Dakotas, and all over the world. There are so many different kinds of Indians. I was amazed. And I've always held the experience dear in my heart, though I'm not going to be one of those guys that goes to reunions and praises. Karam Shalako Indian School, yada da 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 da. You know, I did go to one reunion once, and it was one of those things wherein the place that they described must have been fabricated after they left there or something, you know? Some of these guys, they say, oh my God, the best time in my life was when I was at Shalako Indian School, my alma mater. And I say, my God, did they go to the same school I went to? I mean, I wasn't the perfect student, but I also remember that, you know, there were all the downsides of being away from home, of you know, pretty much being on your own in a way. You have to begin to learn how to protect yourself, how to navigate the world on your own, and you also have rules, restrictions, and actually, I guess it is a pretty good way to learn institutional living. You know, it's what I decided at the time. But there was also the digging up of stumps. I don't know if that existed here or not, but that was one of the punishments for having, you know, bad behavior or whatever. You know, there was digging up stumps, or there were hours that you had to work. There was a number of downsides to the whole thing, other than the fact that probably the worst thing that I ever picked up out of Shalako Indian Agricultural School was the idea that was held amongst some of my teachers. And the idea at that point was, and it's probably a logical point, probably a point that they had learned and wanted to pass on to we younger people in order for us to learn to survive in the world. But you know, I had one teacher who told me, or told the whole class, at about 11th grade that, you know, you guys just gotta, at this point in time, what you guys gotta do now is just accept the fact that you should learn whatever trade that you decide to do here. And we had a number of them, like auto mechanics and carpentry and dry cleaning, any kind of the kind of trades that were offered at the time. But the idea that he wanted to get across to us is that you are not going to be able to do anything outside the, you know, out in the world other than this kind of blue-collar work that you're training to do here. I was being relegated to a social strata in life that was totally unfair. Perhaps, you know, it was true for the generation that was teaching us this. Perhaps, I think it was true, because there was no climbing the ladder any further than they were capable of doing at the time. Or no one had climbed it at that point. But that really put a filter, that really put a downer on any kind of ambition that any of us might have had at the time. So I would encourage any and all that to not do that to students, not to students who are at a point in life where there are possibilities, that there is the potential, the probability, the possibility of going as far up in the world as you absolutely want to, that you're able to, that you're qualified to, and that you are ready to do, and that you aspire to. Aspire to the highest goals that you possibly can. And don't let your dry cleaning teacher tell you that's all you'll ever have to be able to do. You know, he was a good man, and he meant well. I know, but I did take him seriously for a while, and that to me was not a good thing.